It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas, and when we last left you, we were reading this Washington Post article, Swine Flu Campaign Waits on Vaccine, okay? Now, this is potentially the largest mass vaccination program in human history. Who's saying this? This is Howard Markle, a professor of medical history at the University of Michigan, and he also happens to be advising the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. Now, remember, all this stuff is almost moot because they've already put you under the rule of international law by putting us under level 6. And we'll go over that in the next couple of minutes. It's actually mentioned in this article, but what is WHO level 6? Well, it's the highest pandemic level you could actually reach. It's almost like saying Ebola has... All right, let's say today Ebola breaks out in the United States, kills 100,000 people. Just out of nowhere, boom. You can't go higher than level 6. They would have had to declare level 6 for that. And I would say that that might be a good reason to declare level 6. If we had Ebola, 100,000 people had it in the United States, whoa, that is a level 6. Piggy flu? And it's not even piggy flu. I hate having to even say swine flu, folks. But that's what people know it as. If I don't say swine flu, or if I do, first of all, I'm persecuted if I do say swine flu. Jason, you know it's not swine flu. You know it's 3 types of flu. Yes, I understand. It is 3 types of flu. It's human flu. It's 2 parts piggy flu and 1 part bird flu, H5N1. Okay? That's true. That's the fact. But you're seeing that less and less in the mainstream. So we're just warning people on a massive level. The piggy flu is coming, and they're going to try to stick you in the arm. And this article just has just a bunch of delicious revelations in it. Let me tell you, folks. The vaccine effort carries political risks for the Obama administration. See, it's actually being a little bit honest here, but then it kind of plays it off into this paradigm where they're forced into doing everything. Let me explain. If the outbreak fizzles, they will be susceptible to being criticized for spending billions of dollars. So in other words, if this doesn't happen and people don't take the shots in the arms, the Obama administration sets themselves up for everybody criticizing them for spending billions of dollars, overhyping this, and that's what they're doing. But don't worry, people, they will get sick when they take the shot. That's the whole point. But here's the counter argument, and this is why it has to be done. On the other hand, if this outbreak is early and severe, and there isn't enough vaccine, they will be criticized for under-preparation. So what this means is that you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, so you better do it. Okay, that's what, see, this is all pro-Obama administration. It gives you little tidbits of truth, but it presents it in a positive manner. There's little doubt that we're going to vaccinate people, said Anthony S. Fasuio of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, who is leading the government's testing of the vaccine. So the guy who's leading the testing of the vaccine, by the way, which is going horribly, and they sugarcoat that as well, says, yeah, there's no doubt about it. We're vaccinating people. Boom. Biggest mass vaccination program in human history. And where is it starting? Here, North America. Not just the United States. Canada's going to do it too. Okay? It's an international conference, folks. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's see. The campaign is haunted by, see, this is the one, there's like a little subsection of truth here. You ready? The campaign is haunted by memories of the government's ill-fated 1976 effort to vaccinate people against the swine flu. The epidemic fizzled. In other words, it was never, ever a problem. And remember, Gerald Ford, the president then, says the same exact thing as our current Lord and leader, Barack Obama, does. It's like they're reading the same exact script. Only they're not talking about this part in 76. The epidemic fizzled, but the vaccine was given to more than 40 million people and blamed. See, they say it's blamed for causing. No, it caused. So let's change that from and blamed for causing to it caused, because that's what's reality. Okay, Washington Post? I don't want to hear blamed for causing. It caused. Okay, it caused a rare paralyzing disorder known as Guillain-Barré syndrome. It caused people to die. See, they don't say anything about deaths. And it says blamed for causing, softening it up. It's like taking a fist and wrapping it with a pillow and just going, boop. Yeah, you feel a little bit on the chin, but it's not so bad, is it? It's actually a good thing. It woke you up a little bit. Then it says this, fears and misinformation about the vaccine are circulating. Ooh, we are big fear mongers here because we read the government documents. Because in front of me, I have the WHO document that tells you what level 6 is really about. This 39-page checklist for preparedness planning of influenza. It's right here. We're going to get to that again in a moment. This stuff is just so unbelievable to cover because they're outright saying, telling you about the Gillian bear, softening it up, and then saying fears and misinformation about the vaccine are circulating, including inaccurate claims that it will be mandatory. It's my claim that it's going to be mandatory. I need you guys to bring up that USA or that Today Show thing where they say the 3-spot shot flu. That's right. Not 1, not 2, but 3 mandatory. Remember, mandatory is the word they use. I'm not using the word. I don't get to decide who takes a shot or whether they should take it or not. That's not me. I'm not part of the bureaucratic, tyrannical, invisible empire that rules this planet. Okay, and by the way, the trailer for Invisible Empire may be up later tonight, maybe up tomorrow. We'll see. Working hard on it. Little segue there. But again, they're saying authorities are adamant now that it's going to be voluntary. Well, that's not what they've been saying all along. This article is really trying to soften the blow of what's to come. Thank you, Washington Post. I hate people. I woke up at like 6:30 in the morning. I decided to take my pup out and came back in. Couldn't quite sleep, so I threw the television on. And Chris Matthews has like a news show on early morning NBC on Sunday, and Bob Woodward was there and a bunch of establishment media personnel from Time Magazine. And they're all joking about fact checking and the internet. And these guys are trying. It just shows how spineless they are and how ridiculous they are. They're saying, oh, we can only go so far because we have to fact check and we have to be thorough. They're not thorough. They're disgusting. Authorities are adamant that vaccination will be voluntary. No, if you look at what it says in this WHO document, okay, you take a look, and it says mandatory, and we're going to get to that, 1.5.1. Okay, we're going to read that nightmarish piece of international law, UN law, that we're going to be going by the way, because this is what this is. It's all about internationalism. It's about global government groupthink, okay? Let's see. To address concerns of pregnant women and parents with young children, some vaccines is being produced without a mercury additive. So right off the bat, they're telling you, 99% of this stuff is going to have thimerosal in it. It's going to give you mercury poisoning. And who do they want first? They want the kids, and they want the pregnant women to come in. This is the one time you will hear that there is mercury in these vaccinations. Remember, mercury good when they shoot it inside of you, but mercury bad when it's, produced by coal and it's in the environment. It's again, double think. We live it. It is so 1984 right now, I can't get over it. The CDC will step up monitoring for rare, serious complications such as Guillain-Barré. See, they're not done. They're doing short-term studies, and they really don't have the personnel to study everything, but they're looking out for Guillain-Barré. On Friday, officials reported that no red flag regarding safety had emerged in the clinical trials. Please, give me a break. Let's see. In Maryland, officials estimate that 2.9 people will fall into the priority groups for the vaccine. Virginia estimates that number to be 2.5 million. Let's see. The total amount of people that they're planning on getting with this, out of the 300 million in this country, 159 million people. More than 50% of the population. Setting priorities for delivering the vaccines will bring other complications. The elderly, usually first in line for flu shots, will not be so this time because they seem more resistant to the virus. But they remain a top priority for seasonal shots. See, they figure that they can just get sick and die from the regular flu shot, so why waste the other one? We're also going to be talking about who's profiteering from this, because there are quite a few profiteers in this swine flu. All right, so what is pandemic level 6 and why are we under it? Well, again, this is their own documents. Let's go right to it. 1.6, it's probably on the page before that. 1.52. 1.51, legal and ethical issues. Okay. During a pandemic, it may be necessary to overrule existing legislation or individual human rights. That's right. You have zero individual human rights. The Bill of Rights, the Constitution mean nothing to you because you are under international law, according to WHO Level 6, which we're under. Interesting. Examples are the enforcement of quarantine, overruling individual freedom of movement, use of privately owned businesses for hospitals and buildings. Oh, so we're just going to take over buildings and make them mass vaccination centers, whether you like it or not. Let's see. Off-license use of drugs. The drugs don't have to work. And by the way, I'm reading this subsection right here, folks. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, compulsory vaccination or implementation of emergency shifts in essential services. See, the word compulsory, that's a synonym. Synonym for the slow people out there means same, okay? Compulsory and mandatory mean the same thing. Who knew? But when the Washington Post reports it, oh, that's misinformation. Mandatory shots are not real. It says right here, compulsory vaccinations. Off-license use of drugs. They don't have to work. Okay? These decisions need a legal framework to ensure transparent assessment and justification of the measures that are being considered. What are those measures? Oh, we're going to get to that in a moment. We're going to get to the measures that they're willing to go to in a moment on the other side of this break, and then we're going to go to your calls. The call line is 888-201-2244.